Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I want to discuss an interesting topic today, and might be a little controversial, but sometimes that's good. You see, I'm wearing a mask now. We all know that it's indisputable that science tells us, and by today we know, that wearing a mask literally saves lives. And if we want to reopen our economy and we want to be able to strengthen our economy and have people go out, masks are the singular thing that could protect us and save us. In fact, I just saw a study that came out today that masks reduces the possibility of catching COVID by 67%. We also know that the mask, for it to help, has to cover your mouth and your nose. Like this. Wearing a mask just like this is not going to help because it needs to cover your nose and also needs to be snug. You see, this is a mask we gave out by my birthday party, but it needs to cover your nose and be snug. Why am I talking about this? Because first I want to get out of the way the obvious that everyone should be wearing masks wherever you live, whatever political side you're on, however you feel, if it's comfortable or not. There's been worse. We've been through world wars. We've been through crises. Massachusetts is in an amazing place now. Our numbers are low. Our reinfection rate is beyond low. I mean, our infection rate is unbelievable, especially here in Brookline. But I saw something that really bothered me online, on Facebook, of course, and of all places, on Friday, right before Shabbos, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I wanted to discuss this with you. This lady posts, she must be a lovely lady, and she says, I just went into this certain deli that she went into that was finally be opened or whatever, and I saw 2 out of the 4 people working had masks on, and they weren't covering their nose, and it wasn't so snug. 2 out of the 4, and one of them was working behind the deli. I told the manager, and I didn't like the way he took care of it. I am never going back into the store. She posts the name of the store, of the deli, and just don't ever go into this deli till COVID's over. Now, to be very honest, I have no problem with someone walking into a store and being uncomfortable with the way the masks are being worn and leaving the store. I also know that according to most doctors, infection is not carried over through food. But that's irrelevant. The question is at what point do you go from leaving the store or speaking to a manager to posting on Facebook and trying to hurt the store? Let's think for a minute. These stores are really hurting. Some of them lost 3-4 months of business. Some of them had to lay people off. Some of these employees are immigrants. Some of these employees don't know how to wear a mask even after they're told, or have a hard time keeping it on their mouth. Should they do it on their nose? Of course. Should they be more careful? Of course. But where did we go from being sensitive, caring people? We're Brookline, we're open-minded, we're liberal. We care about everyone. From when did we go from saying we care about everyone to being so demonizing and hurting, to want to hurt someone's business and to want to go after them? To me, that's where the line crosses. Criticism is good, and especially if you want the criticism to be heard, you go over to gently to a person and say, I'm worried about my life and your life. Could you put on your mask, please? Could you cover your nose? You know, we've had services at Shul for 2 months, every Shabbos and almost every day. We've had it outside, not inside. And I've made it clear you must wear a mask. Someone said, well, I don't care. I said, well, this is the rule in our show. You need to wear a mask. There's been times that someone by mistake forgot their mask or took it off in the middle for a minute, or it wasn't covering their nose. And in the right moment, at the right time, I went over to them gently and told them what needed to be said. But I told all the other congregants, it's my job, not yours. And we have to be sensitive. Criticism is good when it's constructive, when it comes from a caring place, when it comes from a place of love, of understanding. Now more than ever, we need love, we need understanding, we need appreciation one for the other, we need gentleness. We're never going to get through this without love and unity. And instead of focusing on catching someone by something and hurting them, think about it. You speak about loving everyone, they're included. And I want to tell you something fascinating from this week's Torah portion that connects to it, and you tell me. This week's Torah portion, the Jews are on the cusp of going into Israel. And comes along 2.5 tribes, the tribe of Gad and Reuben and half of the tribe of Manasseh. And they say, listen, we realize that this part of the Jordan, the Trans-Jordan, is really nice. There's beautiful grass and there's beautiful places for our stock. We have tons of animals. And why don't we stay here and let the other Jews cross to the land onto the other side of the Jordan, and we'll stay here. We'll stay on the eastern side, they'll go to the western side, and why do we have to go with them? And Moses critiques them. Not just that, but he comes down full stock and barrel on them. 10 verses, strong verses. Moses says, are you kidding me? Your brothers will go fight and you'll stay here? Don't you remember what happened with the spies? And now finally after 40 years when the Jews are ready to go in and God has allowed them, you want to repeat the mistake? How ashamed are you? Goes on for 10 verses. The 2.5 tribes are silent. They don't say a word. And then after Moses finishes, they say, Moses, we plan to go fight with them. We plan to stay there till they settle their land. And only after they settle their land will we come back here. We don't want to not go there because we don't care for the land, because we don't care for our brothers, because we don't love the land. We just want to expand the land. We love this part too. And we want the land to be bigger and there to be more space. And Moses says, if that's the case, and you promise to do that, no problem, with pleasure. And the rabbis ask a basic question. If the 2.5 tribes had the intention the whole time to go fight the war and not to settle till after everyone else was settled, why didn't they tell Moses in the beginning? Or the moment Moses asked them the question, Moses says right in the beginning, shall your brothers go to war and you stay here? He asks them. So before he continues the next 9 verses, they should have said, Moses, no, hold on. That's not our intention. We plan to go with them. It's just we want to come back here. But they don't do that. They're quiet for 10 verses of scolding rebuke from Moses, the greatest leader. Why? What was their intention? And I saw a fascinating answer from the first Gerer Rebbe, the Chidushei Harim. He was a brother-in-law of the Kotzker Rebbe, the great Rebbe Menachem Mendel of Kotz. He lived in Europe and he suffered terribly. He lost 11 out of his 13 children. And he ended up raising some of his grandchildren. One of them was Pinchas Menachem Alter, who was the next Gerer Rebbe. And he was his grandchild who he took after. And he looked after. Now this grandchild from a young age loved studying all night. He was an Ilui, we would call him. He was someone who loved Torah so much and had a very sharp mind. And he would sit up all night and then he would go to sleep maybe right in the morning for an hour and run to minyan. Well, guess what? One night he was sitting with his chavruso, which means his study partner, and they studied all night till the morning. And then he fell asleep. And he came a half an hour later to davening. When he came a half an hour later to davening, his father, his grandfather, the Rebbe, waited till after davening and then called him over. And he scolded him. He says, Judaism expects a time. And you have to be able to come to service. And after you sleep a whole night, you have to jump up in the morning and be ready to tackle the day and to connect to God and to come to shul. And this is not, and he went on and on. The grandson said nothing. Afterwards, his study partner came over and said, I don't understand. Why didn't you just tell him that you were up all night learning and you barely slept, you just fell asleep? Why didn't you answer me? He never would have scolded you. Why did you keep quiet? And the grandson, who ended up being the second Gerer Rebbe, a great man, he looks at his study partner and says, what? I finally had the honor to get a rebuke from my grandfather, such a holy man, once in a lifetime. You think I would give that up by making an excuse for myself? Basically what he was saying was, my grandfather's such a holy man, he loves me. For him to rebuke me, it's coming from such a positive place. I want to hear it, I don't want to give it up. And then he brought for proof this story with the 2.5 tribes. He says, why do you think the 2.5 tribes didn't answer Moses after his first verse when he asked them, shall your brothers go to work and shall your brothers go to war and you should stay here? You know why they didn't answer? Because Moshe was their leader for 40 years. He loved them. They knew their relationship. They knew how much he cared. When Moses rebuked them, when Moses was telling them something, they wanted to listen. They didn't care what they could explain. They wanted to hear the words. The Rebbe Nashab says, the 5th Chabad Rebbe, he says, Ehoiv es habikuras. Love criticism, because it will bring you to real places you could grow that you would never be able to real accomplishments you would never be able to come without it. Criticism is good when it comes from a place of love. But there's two things that always stand in the way of criticism. It's our insecurity and it's our arrogance. And a lot of times our arrogance comes from our insecurity. Imagine you're married and your wife tells you something. Criticism, married for 20 years, and you let off and you start screaming and your wife retreats. Who gains from it? Nobody. Because we all have iniquities. We all have struggles. And if the one who loves us can't tell us the truth, that we should be able to grow, then what's our hope? Criticism is good when it comes from a good place. When it comes from someone who loves us. When it comes from someone who cares for us. When it comes from someone who is there as a leader, someone like Moses, someone like the Getter Rebbe, someone like a spouse, someone who really cares for our health, for their health. So let me give you this again. And to that lady on Facebook, I commented there, it's irrelevant. When you're wearing a mask, let the mask cover your nose and your mouth. Wear a mask whenever you're around people. Indoors, for sure, but even outdoors. If you're running and you're away from people, you can drop your mask, and when you see someone coming close, you put it back on. But when you see someone going like this by mistake, their mask fell off, or when you see someone who has a loose mask, you want to criticize them. Think twice before you criticize them. What are you going to accomplish? And if you have to do it for the safety of yourself and other people, do it in a gentle, caring, understanding way. You'll accomplish much more, and you'll care for them. And don't go onto Facebook or onto social media to hurt them and to hurt their business. Do you know how they're struggling? Do you know how many people are laid off? Isn't there a better way to do it? Don't we need the love and the care to get through the next 6, 10, 12 months? Who knows, heaven forbid, how long it might be? God bless you. May we all stay healthy and safe. May the numbers go down as they continue. And may God bless all of us as one, united in love and care for our fellow. Have a great day.